Uplift the lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio.
And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson. What's going on, my good people? This is Charles McCutcheon. I'm your favorite entrepreneur. It's time for another session of Charles's Corner. Hope everybody's doing well. Well, today, I'm still on this 2020, and we have to really close out 2019 the right way. That's what I've been doing. And a lot of people say, Charles, you've been gone, man. I haven't seen you. I'm like, I have something I have to do. I had to actually step down for some of the things that I've been working on, so I can close out my 2019 the right way. And what I see is a lot of people take their foot off the gas. That's their business. No big deal. But it happens. And we do it for a few reasons. We just, people have been working all year. They're like, I'm just going to kind of relax and then pick it back up in 2020. And it's almost like going uphill. I just sent something out on social media. I have to put it on Instagram as well. But I put it out there to let people know as far as I actually put out about credit. And I did that because I believe, to me, credit is like the first stop with like everything that we're doing. You start with credit and then you move from there. And so I put that out to the masses, really. And what we're going to do is we're all going to be sending in letters to the bureaus at the same time. We're going to do it at the same time. So just to let everybody know, what I did is when I posted that, I put a couple of different links on there. And so what those links are going to allow you to do, if you go on Facebook, I'm in a couple of different groups. So in those groups, that's where I posted. I didn't post anything on my timeline. I just posted it in the different groups that I'm in. Because it just seems like those groups are more specific, and those groups are people that want specific things. I have a credit group, different type of groups and things that I do. But since they're more specific, I just decided to go with them and because everybody don't need it. Some people may or may not need it. So I did it a little differently this time. So what I want you to understand when I bring up credit, when I talk about credit, credit goes from 350 or something like that, 300 to 850. If you get to a 750 credit score, you can do almost everything that an 850 can do. So if you get an 800, you're good. But the thing that kind of puzzles me is people get to a point where they can get good credit, but they don't do anything with it. So you got an 830 credit score, but it's just sitting there. You can actually get money at 0% interest for 6 to 18 months, and you use that money to make you more money and then give them their money back, if that makes sense, because that's what banks do for us and lenders do with us. So you should be able to do the same thing. You should be able to be the bank, in a sense, for lack of a better word. Now, everybody does credit differently, and my disclaimer is I'm not giving out any type of legal advice. That's not what I do. I'm looking at the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and there's different laws in there. You need to go read that and speak to your legal team, and don't say Charles said to do this. I want you to research everything that I put out because the information is out there in plain view. So this is not any secret. This is just what I do personally. I'm going to always say it's what I do personally. So everybody does credit differently. The way I do it I start with personal information first. And this is what I know. Now, I don't work for a company doing credit. I know different companies that do it. I know different people that do it. I know some credible people that do it, and I can give you to those folks, but that's not what I do. I used to do it back in the day, back before the bubble busted, had a credit company, and I'm just more passionate about real estate and other things than speaking engagements. So I just don't do it. So most everybody I run into in this industry of the credit world, they have some type of error. And I'm sure if you went to your credit report, you're going to have some errors as well. And the personal information needs to be the first stopping point. And this is what I see out there. I see people that they're sending out these letters for deletions, right? And then the company's coming back and saying, nope, it's valid, it's verified. And it's like, it's verified. 9 times out of 10, you may have some wrong stuff on your credit report, and you haven't fixed it. Something simple as like your job you used to work when you was probably, 5 years ago is still on your credit report. And what they can do, when I say they, is credit folks, they tie that job to maybe an old debt. It may be a valid debt. It may not be a valid debt. But what you have to do is you send out the personal information and say, I'm going to read over it so you have the information as I read over it. But anyway, so what happens when we send in all these different documents to get stuff deleted off our credit report, a human doesn't look at it up front. At first, it's a computer. So this computer scans your document that you send in, and then they send it back out and say it's been verified. They give the credit bureaus this 2-digit number, and they use that 2-digit number. They use that 2-digit number to say your stuff has been verified. This is where it gets tricky. So they send you your documentation back and say it's been verified, and then what we do is absolutely nothing. We just say, okay, well, I can't get that deleted. It's been verified. And that's where you go wrong at, because you don't know there's another step that's out there that you need to take. So the computer maxes up your information, and what the computer's doing is looking for all these different variables, right? So your name could have a middle initial, and then down below that, it could not be a middle initial, and then down below that, it could be last name first, and then down below that, it could be first name, and then down below that, it could have you put an O in your name, and down below that, it can have an S in your name. So they're taking all this into account when you know how to spell your name. And so you have to send that letter in and say, no, this is the only name that I have. I don't need any other. Just do it the way I tell you to do it. Basically, you put that into some documentation. So if you want to do it the right way, you have to make sure you get your 3 credit reports first. I know everybody want to do it their way, and I get it. But you need to get your 3 credit reports first, because if you don't get your 3 credit reports, it doesn't matter what you think you know, because if you don't have the information that's on there, how would you know if your information is right or wrong? So I know I have a different view on getting your credit scores. You can or you can't. It is what it is. You may know your credit score from, 3 months ago or something. If it's not that big a deal, then you can go to like www.annualcreditreport.com and get your credit report and start to do the deletions. And when you start seeing stuff come off, then you can go and, figure out what your scores is, or you can go to another site where you can get your credit scores, and then you'll know where you are and, how you're moving. So that's definitely up to you. So the other thing is the end goal, for everybody, I'm sure, is to get information deleted off our credit reports. First things first, and follow the law. Follow the law. And I'm going to tell y'all this. If it can't be verified, and this is as per the Fair Credit Reporting Act, I think it's the FCRA, they have to delete it. And they have to do their due diligence within 30 calendar days. If they can't verify it, then they have to delete it. And so you need to be able to submit the right paperwork to say, hey, this is what happened. This is my documentation that I had, so you have to delete it. Now, I don't want y'all to get this mixed up on what I'm about to say. And I know some people, well, Charles said, no, I'm saying follow the law. What I'm saying is the best you can do when you're submitting the documentation, you need to verify first. Verify everything first. They have to prove that it's your debt. That's all I'm going to leave you with. Verify it and figure it out. So what I'm doing December 23rd, December 20th. I forgot what day. I think I'm doing it on the 23rd or the 20th. It doesn't matter. I got a lot of people. We're going to be sending in our credit reports and stuff and dispute letters on the 20th or the 23rd. I forgot what day it is. So if you want to be a part of that, come on down. Mm-hmm. Come on down. We'll lead a light one for you. So what happens is a lot of stuff is incomplete on the credit report, and that there's just a lot of factors when you come to that. You can have missing letters, false numbers, letters being added, stuff that's unverifiable, and you have to have proof. The debt collector has to have proof to collect from you. And usually they come out and talk to you, and they want you to pay, the full amount, which has already been written off, but that's a whole other thing when you get stuff in the stuff that's already been written off, charge off. Now, let me tell y'all this. The FTC, they conducted a study back in 2002 and 2014, and they determined that about 40 million people, this is back in the day, 40 million people in the U.S. had at least one error or more on their major credit reports. Now, these errors, they affect your score, and they cost you thousands of dollars in like high interest rates, loans. It can be a job. You probably could have got costed a job and didn't know it. And you thought that you bombed the presentation when you went in there to talk to these people, and it was your credit score, something on there. So credit bureaus must obey the law, and that's including what I said, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And according to that act, an item on your report must be removed. Must be removed. And now, if it's inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable, if they can't verify it. So these are some 5 creditor violations that I know that's out there that happens, but a lot of us don't catch it. If you don't catch it, it don't matter. So creditors calling you before 8 a.m. They're not supposed to call you before 8 a.m. and after 9 p.m. Third parties contacting you or contacting your employer. They're not supposed to do that, or a friend, or any reason they're trying to get information out of them. Creditors lying about how much you owe on the credit. Creditors, they try to threaten you to garnish or sell all your property or stuff. Creditors giving false credit information to credit reporting companies. And the thing where I say you need to verify, because you have some creditors out there that's not even, you got creditors like from California trying to get money out of you in Virginia, and they're not legally bound to be able to go across the lines like that. And that's why you have to verify and really speak to them and understand. I would tell you to read the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Shoot. Read that and get some documentation so you can say, oh, shoot, I didn't even know this. I guarantee you if you read it, you're going to see some things that you didn't know about, right? So there's a lot of mistakes being made. I say get to the 700 club as fast as you can. 600, you work it out as you go, but you have to get there. And it comes down to getting a spreadsheet, pulling that out, saying, these are the companies that I mailed this information on to. This is the date. I did it via certified mail. I sent in a copy of a address or a copy of a bill. I sent my driver's license. You send it in your documentation so they know it's you. That's what they want to know. And the stuff comes back quick and be like, verified. Everything is like verified. And then you send in that other piece of paper to say, hold on now. Now I want to know how you verified it. What methods did you use to verify this piece of information? That needs to go out every time. I don't care. That's just me talking, not from a legal perspective. But if I were you, I would make them verify everything. And they got to make me understand that, okay, they know what they're talking about. That's what I'm saying. So it's looking at it and saying, this is what I want to do. This is what I see as well. I see these companies out here, and I'm not going to put a ping on a company. I see companies out here killing people's pockets. $100 a month, and you've been doing it for a year, and you got nothing happened. It's like, come on now. You gotta look at it a little different. Like, okay, why did nothing happen in a year? Or you got 5 points added or something like that. That's nonsense, family. It takes about 30 days to make something start happening. It can be a little bit less, but just go with 30 days because by law they have 30 calendar days, and I would say 45 days total type deal. So to make something start happening, but when they do their part, you have to do your part. You have to look at your ledger to say, okay, I sent it out, 29 days ago. Tomorrow, they need to be sending me some documentation. It needs to be stamped and have the dates on there. Now, this is what you can do to have them delete stuff, and this is legal. Now, all I'm saying is when they send you something, if you send it on October 1st and November 15th, you get the letter back, and it says November 15th, and you have a stamp from your certified mail going out October 1st, and they have a stamp coming back to you stating that they viewed your credit report and it's verified as of November 15th, now you have to go send another letter to them to say, as per the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and you need to read in the FCRA, read that, and then it's going to tell you what you need to say to the different bureaus to say you need to delete this because you didn't do it in a timely manner. Now, it may be your debt. All I'm saying is I'm following the law of the FCRA, and you need to do the same thing. Follow the law. If the law says that, then you need to follow what's in there. That's what I'm giving you. So first, you got to get those copy of your credit reports, and what you're going to be concerned with is public records. That's number one. Derogatory accounts, unsatisfactory accounts. Now, all of those are bad in that order. Public records are bad. Derogatory accounts are bad. Unsatisfactory accounts are bad. So public records, they're the worst. Those like bankruptcies, tax liens, judgments, anything that's on the public record that can be seen. So typically when you have a public record, you get letters from lawyers. They're going to promise, hey, we want to help you. Lowell, the Hammers family, all these people come out and they want to help you. What they did, all they did was purchase your information from the credit bureaus. And they try to sell you some type of expensive service. Some of them try to scare you, and what they're doing, they're just getting creative. I mean, they send handwritten letters and everything in between. That's just how it works. The next thing that's bad is derogatory accounts. So those are accounts that have been referred to a collection agency, and I know there's like a 7-year period on some of these things, and after 7 years you can say, hey, I need to get this account taken off. But there's steps to do it. There's ways to do it. There's what you say. I don't like to talk on the phone to them because they're going to record your call, and they can use that in court. So on the phone, I just, this is just me personally talking. You need to read the FCRA and figure out what you can and can't do. But for me, what I say is, I really don't understand. I don't even know who you are. So can you send me some correspondence, please, via mail? And I'm not even giving my address only because they should know it. If they're who they say they are, they should know my address, so send me some information. So that's what I do. So by law, if you tell these companies not to call you, they're not allowed to call you. But you got to tell them, and you got to send it I send it in a letter. You can actually tell them. All these companies care about is the money. So what they do is they buy your debt for like pennies on the dollar. Let's say you got $1,000 debt out there. They probably got the debt for $100, and they want $1,000 from you. So all these different companies, they have insurance on you. Please leave that. And so they're going to get their $1,000. So if your debt go to charge off, they got their money. So now you got to say, okay, how am I going to get this off my report, or what am I going to do? Am I going to pay it? If I was to pay it, me personally, I'm not paying no doggone $1,000, to tell you that much. I'm going to say, let's make a deal. That's just me. But I know what to say to these folks, and you're going to have to get smart and go in there and start reading so you can understand what you need to say to them. So many times what they'll do, they'll take your money and they'll never remove an item from your credit report. They can do that. But because you didn't get anything in writing and you try to talk to them and say, yes, what we're going to do, we stand by our word, and they're not going to do it their part, and they don't have to. So they have purchased your debt from the original creditor, pennies on a dollar, and so they want their money back. That's what they do. Or they're going to sell it to somebody else probably for $200, so they try to recoup their money, and then you get another ABC company coming after you. That's what happens. The next thing you have is those unsatisfactory accounts, and those where you have late payments. So I've called in. I had a late payment on my mortgage one time. I called in. I paid late, and I called in and I asked them could they remove that, and they removed it. I had late payments on credit cards. I called in and asked them. Then they say, well, we give you a one-time courtesy removal, blah, 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 and so they removed it. And if they don't, then you talk to somebody else, talk to their supervisor, and go from there. Now, I don't care if you had bankruptcies, foreclosures, it don't matter. You can fix your credit. Credit can be repaired. A lot of people go crazy over it, and I used to be that guy. I used to be crazy over credit. I used to watch my credit score every day, like every, E-R-Y, every day. I used to watch it every day because I was just going crazy over it. Like, man, I really got to get this thing down. Just trying to get it, get down all of the, make sure the lesions go through it and raise my credit score. That's all I cared about. So my credit score has been down to, I don't know what the lowest my score was. I really don't. It may have been down to 400 at one point. Not 400, but in the 400s. I really don't remember. It's been in the 500s, it's been in the 600s, 700s, 800s. And, that's just what it is. I don't use a lot of credit. So I hate to say I don't really care about it, but I just don't use a lot, and that's just how I do what I do. I use more business credit than anything. So you do yours the way you do yours. If you want to use your credit, you use your credit. And you're looking at the top three companies out there, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. That's on the business side. So some credit bureaus, you got to go through hoops. Oh, my goodness. You got to go through hoops, and they try to be tough. They try not to remove anything. What you can do, let me tell you how you get around that. You go to a UPS store or you go to a notary. You take a bill with your current address along with your driver's license, get both of them notarized, and then you send the information to the bureaus. And that kind of like moves them a little bit quicker. Make sure you do it via certified mail. You want people to sign for it. You want a stamp or something. You want something saying they got this, so you can use that in court if you have to go, because by law, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, every incident or dispute is like $1,000 on their behalf that they would have to pay you. So that's just, just good information. So I think I have over 20 plus letters, truthfully. There's so many different letters. And I see people just saying, just get a 609 letter and send it in. That's all I hear, a 609 letter. And that's just a dispute letter. But that dispute letter may not be what you need. If you have a medical something going on, that's a HIPAA letter. If you got something that just happened, like say you fell on hard times, you may send out a goodwill letter. There's a student loan letter. There's a credit remove. There's a dispute letter. There's a inquiry removal letter. There's, oh my gosh, y'all, there are so many letters out there. It is like pathetic how many letters there truly are that nobody even talks about, and we just kind of just go through just trying to figure this thing out. There's just, you could have a lawsuit. There's letters out there for that stuff. Nobody talks about check systems. Nobody talks about repossessions, and we just kind of just focus in on, I'm going to send this dispute letter in the hopes that everything works out. So credit can be done by you. Will it be done by you? Probably not. I'm just being honest from what I see across the board, across the country. It doesn't matter who. People get excited about I was about to say real estate because I'm all on real estate. So people get excited about credit, and then it goes away. It just goes away. So I don't know where you are or what you're doing or what you have going on, but you have to start somewhere. And my somewhere to start is everything that you have to do on your personal side, and that helps out when you send in these letters for removal. Now, I know I spoke about a thing called LexisNexis before, I'm almost leaning toward LexisNexis to have people print that first and see what type of discrepancies they get from there, then send out the personal information. But the way I would do it, if, just looking back on it, I would get my 3 credit reports, annotate everything on there. I would get the LexisNexis report, annotate everything on there, and then I would send out the personal information first so they can start deleting that stuff. And then I'm going to go with all the other letters to send out information. That's just what I would do. So LexisNexis, there's a couple different credit things out there you can look at. And LexisNexis, what they do is they sell your information to these credit bureaus. So you can dispute errors with LexisNexis as well. And there's different templates out there. You can look online for LexisNexis, and you can just get a copy of your information. That's just what I would do. So there's another company called CoreLogic that you can do dispute on there. A lot of people never talk about them. There's so much out there, y'all. Y'all can use the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, Charlie Foxtrot Papa Bravo. That's that military coming out. You can use that, and they actually work for us in a sense, and you can file a complaint with them. And what happens is if something's not coming out, they're stubborn, they don't want to remove it, you send it out you send a complaint with them. Oh, some stuff gets to moving when they get a part of it. So that's just what has to happen. And another thing that goes on is the Consumer Financial Protection, the CFPB. Hold on, let me get this right. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Man, I don't want to say that fast. So what happens is they can come after these credit bureaus. A lot of people don't know that. So I know the CFPB, they ordered TransUnion and Equifax. They had to pay over $23 million in fines and restitution because they were deceiving customers about their credit scores. Isn't that something? Why would TransUnion and Equifax deceive us? Go figure. Go figure. So they also went after the Encore Capital Group and a Portfolio Recovery Associates because they violated the Fair Credit Collection Practices Act, and they received like $79 million in a settlement. It's crazy out here what we don't know, family. It's like, we go through the Better Business Bureau as well. They can help, but it's being diligent, and a lot of people will send in one letter, and then that's it. So it's like, oh, well, it didn't work for me, and then we just kind of stay where we are. I don't like the whole process. I just really don't. I think it just sucks. I just don't like it. I don't like the whole credit process. It's judging us as people, and, it's just amazing. So I can tell you how to fix it. I've done it before. Make people's credit scores jump. If you need information, I can send you the first thing you need to start with. It's I'm at charlesmspeaks@yahoo.com, CHARLES, the letter M is in Mike, Speaks, SPEAKS, that's Sierra Papa Echo Alpha, Kilo Sierra, charlesmspeaks@yahoo.com, and I'll send you the documentation I'm having everybody send out this Friday because we're about to go all in. And I'm going to stop right there. I think I gave y'all a little bit. And, there's repo letters. There's just too many letters out there, y'all, for you to just focus on, I got a medical letter. I'm just going to use the 609 letter and stop right there. You can send letters to your healthcare provider if you need to. If you got some debt out there. And the student loans, they're getting deleted. Student loans, let me say that one more time. Student loans are getting deleted. But y'all don't want this real information. Y'all just going to kind of keep doing what you're doing. I don't know why. It is what it is. Then I got some credit cards you can get from different stores to increase your credit score. It is what it is. It's just information, y'all. I do want to thank you for coming to Charles's Corner. I am your favorite entrepreneur. And I want to thank Miss Kimmy, Elation Radio, Elation Magazine, everything Elation, and all the moves that we're making because it's a movement. That's what it is. It's a movement. I want to pray us out. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray to you right now to bless everyone as they're going through the trying times. I pray for everybody's strength, everybody's unity and empowerment for all. I know that people may feel like everything is not coming together fast enough. Frustration sets in, and most of us tend to believe that it won't get better. Dear Father, let everyone know that everything happens in your time, and I know you'll provide the strength that we need, and know that in your time, everything will be right on time. Father God, you're all-knowing, and we must believe in and trust in you. Ensure that we manifest our destiny and glory and that you set forth in our life, Father God, and ensure that we use up the territory you've given us, dear Lord. I pray for everybody to gain more wisdom. I pray for everybody to gain more strength. And I pray for everybody just because I pray for everybody. And I want you to know that joy comes in the morning. Hey, y'all take it easy. This is your boy, Charles McCutcheon. I'm just excited to be here. I'm hungry, and I'm not going to let anybody stop me. I'm your favorite entrepreneur. Y'all take it easy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I know you see me smiling, it's official now. And everybody wanna know what's going down. It's feeling crazy and I'm laughing at my useless now. It's all becoming funny, free, see I want to bound. You see me smiling, it's official now. And everybody wanna know what's going down. It's feeling crazy and I'm laughing at my useless now. It's all becoming funny, free, see I want to bound. Hey, it ain't no condemnation. He seen the best of me despite my situation. My sins been washed away and now I'm celebrating. When the sunset free is free indeed, I'm so elated. I'm grateful cause I know the places I have been. I'm thankful cause I know with Jesus I can win. When the storms of life come rolling through, he shelters me. No doubt about it. He makes me a better me. Thinking way back, I'm the same cat that had anger in my heart. That same cat, he done came back spreading love on my head for God. Now who would've ever thought that old Mr. Key would be free of iniquity? And although I fall dated like a king day, he's still right next to me. It's all gravy train. And even when I wanna trip, I can't complain. I just think of all the things he do and how I'm changed. And how he freed me, cut me loose, and he broke every chain. I know you see me smiling, it's official now. And everybody wanna know what's going down. They see me crazy and I'm laughing at my useless now. It's all becoming funny, free, see I want to bound. You see me smiling, it's official now. And everybody wanna know what's going down. They see me crazy and I'm laughing at my useless now. It's all becoming funny, free, see I want to bound. Once I accepted Christ, I got a clean slate. No longer bound by my mistakes, I got a clean break. I keep a smile, no longer bound, don't see that mean face. Can't keep me down, see I've been found and I done seen grace.